like to look at us all as a team. I really want to make sure that I get that message across that I'm not as partisan as some people are. I like to find that balance a little bit, and I think that's what I'm doing with the industry and mining in general, is trying to find that balance between the environment and the economy.
Yeah, actually, I'd like to get into that because the critic of energy and mines. That's, obviously you've got someone that you're on the other side of the aisle that has that job to promote mining and energy, and I'd like to get into what your role is, and sort of what your views on what needs to be done differently. On this show, we do talk about regulations and the difficulties industrial sectors are having of getting things going, and so I'd like a perspective on your role and your views on it as well.
Sure. So my role largely is to keep government to account, make sure they're doing the job that they're supposed to be doing. That's to encourage, enhance, improve, transition perhaps the industry of mining and energy, and trying to make sure that any questions are answered, any comments or concerns from industry are being addressed in a timely manner, and making sure that we're pushing mining in the positive directions that it should be going, and I think for a large part it is. Things that need to be changed, I like to think that what we've been doing for the last 20 years or so have been going in a good positive direction. We've had some really good benchmarks or goals set on mining and mining practices, and to introduce new mines and things like that. So I like where we've been going. We've got a government in place right now. It's only been in place for like the last 9 months, and there's a few concerns, but that's where I come in and make sure that they're held accountable.
Yeah, it's quite honestly, it's a little bit in a way refreshing to hear. You're not, obviously you have opposing views from the other side. That's why you're in one party, but you're not attacking them, and you're looking. It's really about serving the province. I think. I've been around. I go around to these shows and I talk to people, and I find most people want some regulations.
Sure.
They want the rules in place. I mean, they're living and working and playing in these areas too. They don't want the water messed up, and they don't want the trees to not be replanted, but they also want the jobs.
Yes. And
I think that's the balance that I'm sure you're wanting to find, and I think the industry is wanting to find in a whole.
Yeah, so going back to where I'm from, I come from a very industrial part of the province, but I also come from a very recreational part of the province, and so I've got a lot of skin in the game, because I don't want to see, we live in the Kootenays because at first industry brings us there, but we stay in the Kootenays because of the recreation it provides.
Right.
So any messing around with that balance, people aren't going to be living there. I wouldn't want to live there. So I understand, and like I said, going back to the nonpartisanship, I understand we need to have clean drinking water. We need to have forests that are healthy and habitat that we're not losing. That also speaks to our wildlife populations in the Kootenays. You said you're a hunter. We want to encourage those kind of things.
Terrible hunter, but I do hunt.
Okay. You're a hunter like I'm a golfer probably then. But no, we're concerned about those things as well, and I think that's where we get lost sometimes. I think people paint us with broad brushes sometimes, and they think, you're a BC Liberal, you're all for corporate greed, you want to rip the environment apart and lose all the good things that we like to do every day, and that's the furthest thing from the truth. No different than on the other side is you see people, you just want to hug a tree all the time, and you don't care about the economy and the industry, and you just want to keep your little piece of heaven to yourself, and that's not the truth either. I think we're just trying to find a balance. We're trying to find some communication to get together to make us stronger in the province, and that's the only way it'll work. Going back to the team analogy, you're only as strong as your weakest link, and we got to work together. This isn't about the BC Liberals. This isn't about the NDP party. This is about the province of British Columbia. Yeah. So the minute we can open those channels to negotiate and talk, the stronger we'll be as a province.
I think the other thing that people are missing too is painting everybody with that brush.